right, good morning. It's just after 5 a.m. here in the Calgary area. I've got my mini stand here. Our practice this morning is going to be around hips, abdomen, rib cage, into the arms and through the shoulders. So there'll be quite a bit of twisting and just connecting between this upper part toward our lower part of our body. We're going to also do a tiny little bit on the feet, because the feet and connecting the feet, really that's the key word, connecting the feet to the pelvis and further up is what is also really important. Remember, the pelvis is the platform and the legs swing through that platform, and so there's a huge component of balance and stability that's required there in order for those feet to function well. So we need to look at everything above and below. So let's get going. We're going to head back to the mat, have a chair handy, as well as some good wall space, and have a tennis ball and a massage ball. So we'll put mini stand back and let's come on to the mat. All right, so starting in standing here, I want you just to feel your feet on the floor. Okay, now you might be up with me. It might be early in the morning. If you're 1 hour behind me here in BC or in California area, you might even be at 4 a.m.-ish here. So you might be waking up, eyes might just be opening. Others of you might be well into your day. You might be in Europe. You might be getting ready to go to bed. You might not even be watching this live. So wherever you are, just notice how your day is with you and you are with your day. How you are with your sleep. Okay, now notice the bottoms of your feet. So 3 points. Ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe, center of the heel. And just feel those points. And you might begin to see my little sheltering kitty who's come into our life for a short period of time. All right, and now notice the rest of your body up. Okay, so now we're going to take the ball, right? We're going to bring the ball on the bottom of the feet. We're just going to roll out the bottom of the foot really, really gently. Just a few of them. And as you do that, notice if anything up further above starts to talk. Notice that awareness. And then other side. Okay, we'll be coming back to this ball with the foot. But now come on into standing. And now just even notice with that if there's anything new or different that you're feeling. Okay? All right, so from here, we're going to come over to the wall. So you're going to bring your arm up to the wall, and you can be right up tight. Obviously, it depends on what your ceilings are. You can be right up tight, or you can be further away. It A, depends on the ceiling, but also B, depends on how all of this feels. So you can be as close or as far to the wall, depending on what's going on for you. And the hand, where I've placed it, through the movement of the arm bone, up and through the shoulder, this is 12 o'clock. Okay, we're going to do some wall clocks. We're going to start here at 12, just be easy. If you find that your hand starts to get a little numb, or you're just feeling that the blood's draining out, then that's probably an opportunity for you to take your arm further down. You may also find that putting your hand in this position is too much, right? It puts too much of a neural stretch on you. So then place your fingers like so, is also a possibility. Okay, so then from here, we're going to take a step forward, and you'll notice my hand is going to stay where it is, and the movement is coming through that shoulder joint as I come forward. And just be conscientious that that shoulder's not rising up toward those ears. Being aware of what your movement is, in many ways, is almost more important than getting stronger. There's a lot of talk about building strength. But if you build strength on a foundation of unawareness and you're not really aware of how your body is moving, then your ability to use compensatory patterns is really high. Okay, let that come back. Which means that you're actually not strengthening where you actually want to strengthen. You're strengthening patterns that could be more coordinated than you're building. So if you can just be aware that the orientation of this is through the shoulder joint, you're not raising this up, and just watch any extraneous tension that builds. Okay, now we're going to drop this arm back down and just notice the difference between left and right. Okay, now let's come over to this side. I'm going to use this wall. Same thing. And then when you're ready, take a step forward. And then come on back. And take a step forward. And you feel what's going on in your body, right? I'm right now staring at another wall and a floral couch. I'm not looking at you, right? So pay attention to what's going on for you. Pay attention to your movement patterns. Allow what has been unaware to come into awareness. Allow the invisible to become visible. Good. And then the more reality you have about how you move, then the more you can change, no matter your age, right? All right, so here in standing. Now notice what you feel. Let's take that ball now, and we're going to bring the arm up, and then we're going to circle it back. Arm up, like this. Now you don't have to hold the ball. It just gives the hand something to do. Just going to do a few of these. Easy breathing. Okay, good. Other side. Okay, lovely. So now bring over your chair. And let's bring that foot up onto the chair. So we're going to do twists in two directions here. We're going to first take it this way. And then we're going to come back. Okay, now notice what that felt like. Now allow your nose to stay in line with your breastbone and take the twist. So lots of times when people are limited through their ribcage, their ability to rotate, they want to move their head more, right? Because at least they're getting their head moving. And the neck part of our spine has a tendency to rotate more than other parts. So now you can bring this arm up a little bit through the shoulder joint. I'm just keeping this hand and this arm over top this leg. I'm keeping it really easy. And be aware of your breathing. Okay, and then bring that back. Good. And then I'm going to turn my chair so I'm rotating towards you. Bring that foot up. And then let's take an initial twist. Okay, good. And then twist. So you'll see that I'm not leveraging with my arms, right? We'll get in there, but I'm not purposefully, I'm not pulling with the arms to come into the twist. I'm utilizing my torso to come into the twist with the awareness here and here and here. Okay, and then come on down. Now you can keep this leg up. I'm going to switch legs just so I can see you more, or see the camera more clearly. So I've now got my opposite leg up. This time I'm going to start to rotate away from that leg. Now my focus here is on my pelvis and my torso. I want to keep my pelvis from moving a whole bunch. Now you might have other ideas about your pelvis. You might have learned that moving your pelvis is what you need to do. So if that's the way you do it your way. The reason why I tend to allow the pelvis to stay quiet is because I want to focus in on more of what's the rotation, which are the obliques and the connection between the pelvis and the ribs. So if I start to now move my pelvis unconsciously, that's not the intent. That's not what I want to build. I want to build the awareness of utilizing my obliques and up through the ribs, because oftentimes we will find lots of extraneous, invisible tension that then becomes visible up through our ribs. Lots of stuff can be held up and through here. And so it's not that it's bad to move the pelvis, you certainly can. It just depends on the intent. So that's what my intent is here. Right? And you get a really nice, or you can develop a really nice connection between your leg, your pelvis, and your torso. Nice. Okay, coming on back. And I'm going to flip the chair. You don't have to. And the foot comes up. And now I'm going to twist away. So when I say I keep my pelvis still, it's not that I keep it cemented. It's not that I'm anchoring it. Still is like a tonality quality, like quiet. Right? So like when you're looking at a lake, the lake can be still, but it's still moving. So there's a distinction there, right? So it's an awareness that I'm not generating the movement from my pelvis. That's my intent. Good. Okay, great. And let that come down. All right, so now come into standing, and now notice what you feel. Is there anything kind of coming together between your legs, your pelvis, your ribs? So now we're going to do the same idea. We're going to take the leg up like so. Now, in this orientation, that might be harder than to do this, right? It's a different plane of motion. So if you need, you can always use a block instead of a chair. So you can be here, my Captain Morgan stance, right? I can be here, or I can be here. So you decide based off of how you feel through your hip and through your balance, you decide, yeah? And I'm just going to move now. It's kind of like I'm playing around with doing a warrior 2. And just play around. I recognize that my knee is moving past. I'm not super concerned about that because I'm not holding it. I'm just moving. So you get a feel for your own self, what's going on through your hip. Notice if you're trying to compensate further up, any gripping in through the ribs. See if you can just stop and breathe. And notice at what point, as you move into that, your breath starts to get a little tight or thin or empty or non-existent. And then find elsewhere in your physical body where things have either gone numb or you've vacated from your body or you've become tense. And see if you can find the range of motion where you're just conscious in reality and you're just noticing what's there. Yeah, you're going to make so many more gains when you operate in that space as opposed to, well, I've got the range of motion, I'm just going to push through it even though I'm not breathing and I'm building tension elsewhere, right? That's a coordinated pattern that's over time it's going to be tricky for how it's going to serve you. Good. And then come on back. I actually was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, older fellow who is due for a double hip surgery. And he obviously he can't say, and he acknowledges this, he can't say maybe he would always have had needed to have a hip surgery, but he was acknowledging how he was likely not moving very well when he was doing his fitness. Yeah. So it's curious. That's all it is. That's the only reason I bring it up, is it's curious. So the curiosity is, how are you actually moving? What are you perceiving? How are you connected? What are you aware of? What can come visible that was invisible? And how can that really serve you, having better connection between not only your brain and your body, but from the concept of your mind and the esoteric energy that's your body. And when you get clarity on that, that's when things really start to dial up. It's that combination of real kind of physical plane reality of our anatomy and physiology and the total woohoo arena of esoteric. And combining the both. All right, lovely. And bring that leg down. Now come into where you are and notice what you notice. Good. Okay, now I'm going to just move the chair off to the side. Okay, let's take the legs wide. And now notice what you feel with legs wide. Let's rotate those leg bones. So we're thinking about moving from the hip sockets, and then we're coming down. Now notice your movement between feet and hips. Relaxing through your shoulder girdle. Yeah. Good. Hands to the outside of your thighs. Press those thighs ever so gently into your hands. But watch that you're actually utilizing your hips and not the outside of your shins, like your outside of your lower leg. Good. And then come back up again and again. There you go. Okay. So now rotate those legs back. Okay, now we're going to rotate this front leg. Pelvis is going to move diagonally with it. Now we're coming into warrior two. Pelvis stays level. Good. And then start to bring the arms to what's comfortable. So maybe it's up here, maybe it's down here, maybe palms are forward. You kind of play with where you want those arms to be. Good. And then come back up, rotate that leg bone and switch to your other side. Just easy breath. Notice what you notice. Notice your experience. When you move well, strength happens. That's why strength is so easy. Yeah, there's some effort involved. Good. Bring the legs back to Tadasana for a moment. But one of the biggest stumbling blocks I see is people who go way too far and grip in the process and lose out on all that opportunity. Okay, bring those legs wide. Okay, and rotate again. We're going to come into a triangle. So now pubic bone and nose are going to stay connected. We're moving through the hips. There we go. So you'll notice that both sides of me stay the same, yeah? Here, over we go. Good. Easy, easy peasy. Keep it simple. Feel your feet. Nice. And then come up. Arms can come up. Good. And then through the hips. Great. And then come on here. All right, now notice what you feel. And let's take the ball back again. And on the bottom of the foot, find the forefoot of your foot and the heel. The heel's coming down. Just find the forefoot so you've got a little bit of a calf stretch happening likely. And you can just move that ball, move your foot left and right. And then move it towards the heel and then back. Good. And let that go. Take a moment. And then move that foot left and right. And then roll. Okay, lovely. Good. And then stand. And now notice what you feel. Come into a really gentle chair. You can bring the arms up if you'd like. 3 points, center of the heel, ball of the foot, base of the pinky toe. And then from those feet, come back into standing. Lovely. Roll your shoulders out. Lovely, good. And let's grab the chair. We'll finish up with a sitting position. So you've got your sitting bones on the chair. Your spine is vertical. And now notice what you feel. Connecting back into your breath. Feeling your feet on the floor. And just feeling yourself and your body. Now you can be here for as long as you would like. Maybe you transition into a more vigorous practice, or you're heading out for a run, or you're moving into something gentler like a nidra or going to bed. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however you transition, take 5 breaths. Count them on the exhale. Lovely. All right, you have a really great rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow. Take good care. Mwah.